Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, January 16th. So today we have the moon in Cancer all day. We are building towards the full moon in Cancer that will take place tomorrow. So we are feeling the intensity. We are feeling hypersensitive. If you have not downloaded your moon guide, definitely go ahead and do so. And that will help you kind of focus in on the shadow work coming up for us, because this is a full moon. We have a lot to purge, a lot to release, definitely connected to our inner child, to our home, to our family dynamics that definitely got shook up. Now we need to kind of release that energy before we can get to building brand new stability within our home family relationships. There are 10 different aspects taking place here today, and 7 of them involve the moon in Cancer. The moon right out of the gate is going to bump into Saturn, and let me tell you, Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is really trying to show us where it is that we have roles and responsibilities that we have to boss up to, especially in our family unit, especially to provide ourselves with some safety, some security, and all of that comes down to a little bit of a lesson in self-love, self-nurturing. This is going to be a good time for us to start thinking about some long-term routines, systems, and foundations that we can put into play to provide ourselves with a little bit of stability when things get a little bit cray-cray. The moon is going to square Chiron, and this is definitely going to open us up, make us very raw and vulnerable, really show us where our wounds are still wide open and where the universe has been sprinkling some salt in those wounds just to bring our attention to what it is that needs to be healed. That wounded healer, although very much wants to illuminate the pain and the suffering and the wounds that we're carrying, also shows us how to heal that. And the answer right now, because of this Cancer in energy, is self-love, self-nurturing, self-care. The moon is going to bump into Mercury, and of course Mercury is now retrograde, and this particular energy is likely going to kind of kerfuffle our communication styles. We're really kind of at odds between our heart and our head. We're having a hard time even understanding what needs to happen within ourselves, and definitely struggling to be able to communicate that in an outward fashion. Because Mercury is now retrograde, we're looking back in the past, and because the moon is in Cancer, very attached to the past, we do have to reflect backwards in order to figure out what it is that we have to do in moving forwards. This is definitely going to put us at odds with ourselves and at odds with our personal relationships. The moon sextiles Uranus, and this is definitely going to give us a higher understanding of some of the painful situations that are currently taking place. This Uranian energy, again, preparing to go direct in just a couple of days, is really trying to show us where it is we have to open our minds up, where we're downloading new information, we're gaining new insight, we're gaining new perspective, we're having aha moments on what it is that we actually need in our lives. And of course, we figure that out by figuring out what it is that we don't want anymore, we don't need. This gives us a framework to actually have a moment of genius where we're acting as an observer instead of being all the way 100% in our emotions. We're able to emotionally detach enough to actually see the greater, grander lesson at play and provide us with a little bit of perspective on how we can rewrite the narrative and, of course, reshape our emotional understanding. Now, the sun in Capricorn, again, the sun in Capricorn only has a couple of days left before jumping into Aquarian energy, so we are trying to pressurize the life lessons here. The sun is going to come up to sit next to, in tandem with, Pluto, the great transformer. Now, this is definitely going to turn the volume up on our intensity. Yes, our intense emotions. Yes, the intensity in our relationships. We have a very high need for control, especially over our emotions, over our thoughts, because our physical realms have gotten a little bit crazy lately. There's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of instability, and Lord Jesus knows we just want to get a grip. We want to start putting one foot in front wanted the other in order to provide ourselves with a little bit of safety and stability. The good thing is, though, we're very strong-willed at this point. Although we are ebbing and flowing between falling apart and putting ourselves back together, this particular aspect is really going to help us boss up, really put the blinders on, give us tunnel vision on what it is that we need to do for ourselves in building new routine systems and foundations to be a little bit more safe and supported while we deal with the chaos. The moon is going to bump into Saturn in not the nicest way, and this is going to illuminate for us the pressure that we feel to rise to the occasion, to the roles and responsibilities, to our commitments, and really put a little bit of a vice grip on our heart space. Again, that moon in Cancer, especially building towards the full moon peak, is really going to intensify our emotions and make us a little bit pressure filled when it comes to the roles, responsibilities, and obligations that we feel to other people. The moon is going to kind of get a little bit cluster-effed here because we're sitting across from Venus. Venus is in a retrograde. She's halfway through her retrograde, preparing to go direct on the 29th. And the moon at this particular point, sitting across from Venus, we're really at odds with what it is that we have to figure out as far as our personal relationships go. This particular energy wants us to focus on ourselves. But of course, we have some fragmented relationship issues that we want to resolve. And at this particular point, we have no clue what it is we want, need, or desire from other people. And the full moon and the intensity from the other aspects on this particular day is really going to amplify the confusion, the inner conflict, the opposition that we feel because we know what we need to do for ourselves, but that kind of puts us at odds with what it is that other people want from us and what it is that we're willing to do for other people at this time. The moon semi-squares the true node, and this is really going to kind of put a damper on what it is that we've been thinking about moving forward into the future. That destiny point, of course, is about to shift on the 18th. We're moving out of the Gemini-Sagittarius axis into the Taurus and Scorpio axis. This is really going to put us in a little bit of a conflict with what it is that we want, need, and desire in moving forward. And emotionally, we're kind of confused about it. We don't know how to re-edit and revise our plans right now with the amount of chaos, disruption, and change that has been thrown at us. So we're going to feel like we don't even know what we want from ourselves as we move towards our future self and the realities in which we're looking to manifest. The sun is going to bump into Chiron in a positive way. So this is going to bode very well for us because the sun in Capricorn is kind of more focused on what we can do in the here and now in our physical realms to relieve us from some of the emotional discord that we're feeling. And Chiron, of course, is illuminating our wounds, but in this particular case is showing us how to heal them. There is going to be an aha moment that kind of gets revealed on what it is that we have to do for ourselves long term. This comes back to bossing up, standing in our power, taking our role of authority back, and really kind of taking control over the aspects in our physical realm that we have control over in order for us to feel like we have a little bit more of a grip on our reality than we've been feeling. Lastly, Mercury is going to semi-square Mars, and this is definitely going to create a lot of nervous tension within us. Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius. Mars is a fire energy in a fire sign in Sag. This is his last week in Sagittarius energy before shifting into Capricorn, so the pressure is on. This is definitely going to create a lot of impatience in our communications. We're likely edgy, snapping at other people. We are frustrated to the 9th degree, but sometimes that frustration is needed in order to fuel the change that we know we have to make. First in our head space, second in our heart space, third in our physical realities.